this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today we're talking about our past lives. And I think I get asked this question quite a lot, and it's very interesting because a lot of people have like past life dreams, or they'll have images or things that come up from their past life, and sometimes they're kind of like, I'm not really sure if it's a dream, if it's really a past life, or it's just because I watched a movie about something similar to it. We're going to talk all about that and more in just a second. That's right. Today we're kind of talking about like past lives. And one of the things that I found is most people don't realize that they're really dreaming or getting information from a past life. I completely understand this. When I started connecting to my past lives, I was very young. And so I just thought I was having like these really interesting kind of bizarre dreams. I wasn't thinking anything like, oh my gosh, this is what's happening. I would have like these dreams about other places, other things. And I thought, oh, I'm just doing that because I saw a movie that was similar to that, or had a dream or something like that, or something must have triggered me in some way. Maybe I wasn't using the word trigger, but you know what I mean. So one of the things that I found is a lot of times when people think like that comes in from a past life, it has to be a past life because I've never done anything like that in this life. Yes, we do have a lot of bleed over from our past lives. We have tons of bleed over, especially if you get a trigger or something reminds you of your past life. So I often have told my students this is the first time I ever saw something that I was like, oh my gosh, I just want to go there. That just like, if I could have climbed in the book, I would have been there. I was in, I think, 6th grade, and walked into history class, and I was in the front row, and the teacher was right there, and her desk was off to, I mean, I can tell you everything that happened. And she's on the board, it said, open your page, open your history book, open to whatever page. And I opened it up to that, and half of the page was taken up by this image of a Mayan temple. And if I could have climbed in that book at that moment in time, I would have. I was like, I mean, it's like birthday, Christmas, anniversary, all wrapped up into one crazy thing. I just had such a desire, almost like just a craving at that very moment to go and see that, go and feel that, go and be there. I was just like, oh my gosh, I want to go. And it kind of just took me by surprise because I really, in 6th grade, not thinking like, oh, I've had a past life there. I was just like in awe, and it was this beautiful temple. I've actually gone to go see that temple in my current life, and it was just as beautiful it was in that picture. But just this image of this beautiful Mayan temple, it was just amazing. It was to see it in the image and to go, I don't know why, I don't know how I'm ever going to get there, but somehow, some way in my life, I want to go there. That kind of imagery, that kind of like desire to go somewhere, usually means you had a past life there. That's kind of the best way to put it. Is a lot of times you will have that like just that deep down like, OMG, I want to go. Like whatever it takes to get there, I want to go. And I just had this, even my heart now is like racing, like just to even think that I could go there, just to even imagine that I could go to this location. And I literally, the teacher started reading and had other people read paragraphs and all that kind of stuff. I don't think I've turned my page off of that book off of that for several minutes, as everybody was like already onto different pages and answered these questions and all that kind of stuff. I was just like, oh my gosh, like I want to go there. So as an adult, like I said, I've gotten to go there, but kind of one of the things that kind of brings you in is, where are those places in the world that you really, really, really want to go, or you're really drawn to? Sometimes I get a lot of people that say like they want to go to Paris, and if you ask them, it's like, it's not like they want to walk on the Champs-Elysees and all this kind of stuff. It's like, I just want to be in Paris. That's how you know it's kind of usually a past life. Like if you want to go, like I want to go eat at this restaurant, it's probably not that. If you want to go feel the energy in that place, that's telling you. If you want to just go be part of the people that are there, that's probably telling you that you've had a past life there. Now, I will say most of us have had amazing past lives, and we've done all kinds of amazing things in our lives. But when you have that, like that, almost that craving, that requirement to go somewhere in your life, to go to that location and be part of it, that is telling you most likely that you've had a past life there. And a lot of times, as you kind of walk around the location, once you get to there and you kind of walk around, you may have more images come up, especially if there's a part or a section that looks similar to the way it looked when you were there. So when you're there, kind of get that feel for the land. And I would almost tell people to kind of do a grounding meditation of just like, I want to ground into this energy, and what are the images that are coming forward? What is that? Like, yes, I want to be there. So find that place in the location, because like Mayan cities were usually a couple of miles across, you know, pretty big or laid out really large. So once I got to the Mayan location and kind of like found that location and kind of felt in that area, I grounded in the energy. And then I really just sat there and just kind of like grounded my energy, felt it, and then like what images came forward, or what energy, like how did it feel, that sort of thing. And now I'm really good at it now, but at the time, not so well. But it's one of those, getting into that imagery, getting into that idea. Now you can even do that in a picture. Like I said, in 6th grade, I did not know how to do this at all. But since then, I have learned how to get more and more attached to our past lives and to connect to that energy. What is the image that you really want to go to? Where is that place? What is that picture that you want to go to? And you can do it just through kind of putting your hand over that picture in a book or on the TV or whatever else, and really just ground yourself in that energy through the TV or through the book. And what are the thoughts and the feelings and the ideas? Because those are the amazing parts. And the more you kind of keep connecting to a certain life, you kind of keep filling in the blanks. A lot of times it's kind of like reading a book, and each year of your life is a chapter. So it's like you may get like part of chapter 1, and you may get chapter 5, and then you may get chapter 16, and then you may get chapter 24, but you don't get all of it. And you only get like a few paragraphs in each one. The more you keep going back in, the more you're going to keep filling in all of those imageries. How did it feel to be there? What were you doing? What was your job? What were the other people around you? Kind of looking for those familiars in your past life. So what is that familiar in your past life? Did, you know what I'm saying, like, do you feel like your mom was in there? Was your dad in there? Was your brother or sister or whatever it is? Aunts, uncles, cousins, all that kind of stuff. Like, and if you feel an image, like a person in that location when you're on that meditation, like if you're connecting with them, how did their energy feel then compared to how it feels now? And in the past, did they feel safe, or did they feel a threat? Now, do they feel threat, or do they feel safe? So it's kind of like getting those similarities, and that can be a great way to kind of bring up more and more imagery of that lifetime. And a lot of times we've had lifetimes with other people that we've known. So you may have your aunt as your mom, or you may have your sister as your mom, or your cousin, or your husband, or whatever it is. So that's kind of the fun part, to really connect to that lifetime, but then keep meditating in that, so you can kind of fill in more and more. And then I often tell people, when you're doing a past life, you don't want to constantly be, filling in one lifetime. There may be a period of time where you're like, I'm going to spend a week on this. And whenever you get a chance, meditate in that energy and keep trying to fill in. But you don't want to keep doing it week after week, year after year kind of thing. It's kind of driving looking through your rearview mirror. It's going to tell you a lot of information, but it's going to kind of telling you more about where you've been and not where you're going. So that can give you a great imagery in that area and kind of give you some great insight into your life, the life of your family and your friends, and how did you connect in previous lives. So let's do some angel cards about past lives and how can you connect to our past lives. I think that's a really fun one. So my first one is healing. Going to a past life can be overwhelmingly healing. It can be very healing to kind of what happened in that past life. Are there any connections that you have to a past life? Is there any other information that came forward? And sometimes if you passed away young in a past life, to go back to it and kind of reconnect to that energy of like what happened after I passed can give you a great idea of that. Our next card is balance. Balancing our energy. Like I said, you don't want to drive around in your current life looking at the past life, but it can give you a great insight into all things past life related, bringing up that imagery and those ideas and that information of like, what do you want? What did it teach you? What was it trying to tell you? How do you want to do this? That can be a really fun one of bringing up that imagery and bringing up what happened in that past life and how did you deal with it and kind of learning from those life lessons. My next card is trust. A lot of times we don't trust it. When we first start to connect to a past life, we don't trust. We kind of think, oh, it's just a dream, or it came up, like I said, in a movie, or it triggered this or triggered that. And a lot of times, yes, it can be a trigger from that, but it doesn't mean that you didn't have that past life. So that's kind of the fun, interesting part, is to really think about what that past life was, what was happening in that past life, and how can you learn from it? What were the lessons that you learned from that past life? I often think that when I do that is kind of going to a past life and kind of going to myself right before I pass. Like, what were the things that I learned? What were the things that I really would have wanted to bring forward? And that can be a great way to do it. My next card is forgiveness. And kind of what happened in a past life, you have to forgive. Even forgiving yourself can be very, very powerful. To forgive yourself in what's happened, what didn't happen. Were there any soul contracts from that past life that you still need to hang on to, or are there things that you need to forgive and let go of? That can be a very powerful one, a very, educational, like I've got to let this go and move forward. Because a lot of times people are like, I don't trust them. In a past life, I think they did something wrong to me. Well, that was a past life. You need to trust them in this life because they're a different person in this life and they've learned and changed and modified themselves, and so have you. My last card is all about blessings, and I think connecting to someone's past life can be such a blessing. It can bring through such amazing information, such amazing insights into all things, kind of like what did I learn? What didn't I learn? What were the life lessons I learned in that past life? And it's kind of just talking to like your grandparents or great grandparents. What did they learn in their life? Or what they want you to not have to learn? What could they tell you now that you could be like, yes, I'm not going to have to learn that lesson. I've learned it from you. That would be a great way to kind of think about doing past lives. And that's really the blessing that they bring to us. Because once we connect into that past life, we can learn so much about us, about our history and how we like things and how we don't like things, and how certain things from past lives scare the bejesus out of us or don't scare the bejesus out of us. And that can be a really great one for past lives and bring in amazing energy for us. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I know that we'll be talking again soon.